I'm here today to show you how to use the 2.5-inch strip cutter to use it to cut 2.5-inch blocks. This is a very versatile die. People that buy AccuQuilt cutters from me and they want to know which die that they should get, this is one of the dies that I highly recommend. It's probably the best-selling die that they have on the market. Okay, so everybody uses this to cut their 2.5-inch strips for binding and also maybe 2.5-inch borders. But I've come to start using this to cut 2.5-inch blocks for the Mondo bag or anything where you use a lot of 2.5-inch blocks. So first of all, I normally use a jelly roll, pick out about 16 strips from a jelly roll, but today I've cut these strips by using the 2.5-inch strip cutter. And so this is what I have, and I just cut these today. And so what you're doing is you're taking one 2.5-inch strip cutter, one 2.5-inch strip. There are registers on the die which shows a 90-degree cut, and I just line it up, and there's blades on the outside. I line it straight up with that, making sure that your fabrics stay together. Just past this blade and just past this blade, because that's where you're going to get your cuts. Fold it back. They call this fan folding. Fold it back over the die, keeping your strip straight. Taking your next strip, doing exactly the same thing. You can cut up to 6. When I'm using these 2.5-inch strip cutters, I just fold it twice on here, but you could do it more than that. But I just want to make sure that my strips stay straight and my block stays straight. For just demonstration purposes today, I could go all the way down this strip cutter, which I have done, lining up these 2.5-inch strips and just making sure that you've got them all in line and bringing it back there. And if I was cutting my 16 strips at a time, I would just continue on down, that when you got to the end, they should be straight. Then you take your mat, put it on top, and this being an automatic cutter, you could do it with your regular Go cutter too. And you don't care about this waste on the end right here, because you can come back and lay that on there and finish cutting your 2.5-inch blocks. Push it up against the cutter. And you can imagine how much time you save if you were spending all day cutting those 2.5-inch blocks, first cutting the 2.5-inch strips and 2.5-inch blocks. I slide it kind of this side, pick up my mat, and pull off the excess. That's about all you lose on each end, just so you go past the die cutter. And there is your 2.5-inch blocks right there. And you're cutting 4 on each strip, so you're cutting 3, so you're cutting 12 at one time, just on these 3 strips. And the savings of time is invaluable to me. I use it all the time. So what you could do also, so after I've cut my 16 strips on here, I actually go back and take this little bit of waste, and I just do the same thing. Just pass the little blades there with what I have left over, line them up, and you'll cut 2 more blocks. Take those off, slide your mat, and there you have more 2.5-inch blocks. What could be easier? There's a lot of dies. I mean, and you could do this with any strip cutter. There's different strip cutters. There's 3-inch strip cutters. There's 4-inch strip cutters. And you could cut those blocks the same way if you wanted to. Just laying them across with your strips. That's it.